Right then, should be live in a moment. All right, guys, what's going on, champs? Hope you guys doing well. Happy Monday is the last day of October, and also happy Halloween for those who celebrated Halloween yesterday. I'm not much of a Halloween fan. You know, that kind of stuff kind of scares me, but I do want to go to America one day to see how Halloween is like one day. So, how you guys doing there? You guys had a great weekend, just chilling and shit. Same shit every day, really, isn't it? And it's been a bit of a boom in terms of crypto across the market itself. Looking at BTC, Ethereum, alts itself, even Shiba rode a nice 20%. I got back in yesterday. Mentioned this to the DCC yesterday, so I got in about 1100, I think 1150, 1160 around that area there. So it's popped up again, so I'm going to let it do its thing. It is the monthly open, so I'm going to be a bit cautious of it today. Monthly open, we've got a big week ahead of us. We have we'll go through the whole thing in a bit in terms of Forex Factory and whatnot. So the dentist, yeah, that's why I did the stream a bit earlier, 10:15 for those who don't 10 o'clock for those who don't know. I got a dental appointment at 11:45 in about an hour and 45 minutes there. Not looking forward to it, but I've got to go to it as well. So not yet. So gotta get a checkup and that kind of shit, the normal stuff. But how you guys doing, man? Same shit every day? We got, who do we have here? We got Vale in the house, Cryptique, we got Guna, we got Daink Country Club. Morning to you. We got Fayon89. How you doing, brother? Morningstar, Tony Agita. Morning to you too as well. 1 second there. So look. There we go. We got Car. Morning to you, IB Chan. Night. Is it night time? Is it for you guys? Is it? Weekend went quick. Had a very busy weekend of family stuff and whatnot. It just flew by. Once it hit Friday night, that was it. It was just bang, bang, bang. The next thing is, I realized it's fucking Sunday night. Then we did the stream together on the country club, looking at the potential of the weekly outlook itself. Yeah, get that saying market's starting to rip. I reckon if we pump next 1 to 2 days, we would dump hard on FOMC. FOMC is actually this week, so it's tricky to say because you have to bear in mind, you got the weekly candle. Let me just show you this, right? It's not weekly candle, monthly candle. Let me hide all this shit here first, and then bring this up. So you know how you got like a bodily candle. So like in a normal candle, the anatomy of a candle is pretty much this. So we got the body of the candle. Then what we have is the wick of the candle, right? And on the upside, and then wick on the downside. Okay, that's what tends to happen. And for those actually who aren't aware, let me just break this down quite quickly. So what this is, right? Let's just say this is an up candle, right? This is an up candle. It's green. How do I make this green? Let's just make it green for everyone to understand. Get the paintbrush going up. 1 second there. Let's just paint this as green. I'm not gonna make this too neat, but at least you guys have the gist of what a candle looks like. So this is a green candle, right? So this is the up candle. So what tends to happen on an up candle, you see this particular high here. This is what we call the high. All right, and that's the close of the body. And here is the open of the body. And here is the low. Everyone agrees with that? That's pretty much as simple as that. And let's just say that's a monthly candle. Okay, if this is an up candle, this is what like an up candle looks like on a monthly. So we get a big spike up, we got a high, we got a close, we got an open, we got a low. Okay, every candle is the same thing, right? So now if we were to break this particular candle, how would it look like? So what it would look like, if I just move, I can't move this around. So how would it look like? So this is, let's say this is the open. So we have the start of the month, come back down, we come down to the low, and then this is the monthly open. What happened is we reclaim the monthly open, bullish market structure, right? Makes higher highs, higher lows, take out these highs there, and we keep on going for the longs, and we're going all the way back up to where the close is going to be. But we don't know if it's going to close yet. Price goes up, spikes up, and then it does something like that, and then it closes. And that's how a candle will look like off a monthly on a, I don't know, like a 4 hour. This is like a 4 hour chart. So when you get the open, you mark out the open, right? And you hold that. If we find resistance, like I said many times, below the monthly open is bearish, above the monthly open is bullish, right? Once we get above the monthly open and show bullish market structure like this, and then we rip it up, going for highs and you know, and lows and all the blocks and all that kind of stuff on the previous candles on the left hand side, and we just rip it up as well. So what we've got now is the monthly close. So with BTC, Ethereum, and the lot, we've had a massive spike up, right? So as everyone's pretty much you know, has seen over the last couple of days, a week or two, really a week actually, because we've been consolidating for quite some time below the monthly open, then got back above the monthly open, and we just ripped just close to the monthly close as well. So we've done the spike up there, we're getting the monthly close, and that's it. And this is how it looks like. So coming into the next monthly, right, we mark out the monthly open, right? So let's say this is the monthly open there for November. Watch how it is. We do any filling out. The moment we reclaim the monthly open, bullish market structure, same as this, rip it up, we take the long, and we go up higher. That's pretty much the gist of it as well, and on like in a nutshell, really. That's pretty much the anatomy of a candle, how we break it down and what we're looking for. Which means the same can be applied on a weekly close, same can be applied on the daily candle, same can be applied on any sort of candle there. Okay. I always say, right, that like that when you look at any sort of candles itself, you mark out like key levels. Key levels, or what is key levels? Key levels you'll be looking at, like for example, the monthly levels. You're looking at quarterly levels, weekly ranges, daily ranges, that kind of stuff. The higher the time frame, which is like, so you got daily, then you got weekly, then you got monthly, quarterly, and yearly. The higher the level, right, the more power it has. So if I fight against the quarterly level, the monthly level against the weekly level, well, the monthly level against the weekly level, the monthly level is going to have more of a reaction because it's a key area. Because the higher the time frame, the more the stronger the reaction is. So if I'm coming down to support of a monthly, then what happens? Then that means it's gonna, like any hold above the monthly level, I'm gonna actually start looking for long. If I'm coming up against a monthly resistance, then as long as we find resistance above it and start breaking down, I'm gonna look for long for shorts. So the same thing now. If I've got a monthly level and a quarterly level and a weekly level mixed together, but what's gonna have the more precedence? It's gonna be the monthly level. Why? Because the monthly level has more power than the weekly. It's just a higher time frame. On the grand scheme of things, after time, after the candles shows itself out, what tends to happen is then you'll be like, oh, we just had a deviation of the monthly open or monthly close or whatever, that kind of stuff. You're gonna say, oh, it's just a deviation. But if you already had in mind that this is gonna be an area of resistance, if we're coming up to a resistance area on the monthly, then you'll be like, okay, this is when we're start taking some sort of profits. If we break down, collapse the rest of the trade, and we can always get back in once we reclaim the monthly level and that kind of stuff. Does that make a bit of sense there for you? I will do a beginner's guide really soon. Really soon. I haven't been too well over last week itself. For those who didn't know, I had freaking chickenpox, fam. I don't know how the fuck I got chickenpox. This is my third time with chickenpox, man. So I didn't really tell everyone in the group itself. A very small handful knew about it as well. I had chickenpox since the moment I had the fever. So but I'm feeling a lot better. It's all cleared up as well. I had fucking spots on my face and shit like that. So those who actually, if you go back to the stream before, you might see some of the spots on my nose and like around here, where around the forehead kind of stuff. Yeah. The critique. No one knew about it. It's not pink eye, fam. Leave the pink eye. Rico, fucking pink eye. What a geezer. So but yeah, I'm feeling a lot better now that the chickenpox is all cleared up. Right, I'm gonna need to have a haircut, then we get the cracking on the thingy, on the session itself. I mean, I got a list of stuff actually. Let's see if I got a word. Give me a second. Beginner's guide. I'll give you a list of like the episodes it's gonna be. What the fuck is it? Come on, load up. So like, in terms of episodes, we're going to have like the basics, which is like setting up trading view, time frames, that'll be the second episode, which we're talking about high time frame to lower time frame, the importance of high time frame, which we just briefly discussed, but a bit more in depth there. I think market structure, that's the third episode. Risk management is the fourth episode. Daily close and daily close and daily open, including the monthly open and monthly close, that's the fifth. We've got SRs, ranges, we've got patterns, trade management, entry techniques, journaling, and trend lines. So we're looking at about 12 episodes. I might squeeze in a bit more, but we're looking around 12 episodes as a beginner's guide. It's not going to be an in-depth explanation. It's going to be for those who are new to cryptocurrency or new to the market or whatever. At least you have something to visually see something going on and how to play certain things, certain levels, using technical analysis really. So that's what I'm looking for to do over the next week or two, and I'm not too sure if I'm going to do this every day or every 2 days or every 3 days. I mean, what do you guys think? You tell me. PS1 Crash Bandicoot player. Yes, Mad Cat. What are you saying? We got a Crash Bandicoot player here. I was playing Crash Bandicoot 4 yesterday night, you know. Fucking sick game though. It's hard, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's hard, fam. But that's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. So if you guys have any ideas, for me to add on, or you'd like me to actually, explain a little bit in details as well, by all means, shout me out. You know what I'm saying? Send a comment below, and yeah, I'm more than happy to take on board whatever you say. Any opinions or any negative or positive feedbacks, pass it on. I'm always willing to learn and grow. What do you think of Metaverse Monkeys NFT? Do you know what? That's a very interesting thing. I'm gonna plug that in quite quickly. Actually, I might as well plug that in. Shout out to Crypto Shadow. So let's have a look. Monkeyverse, Metaverse Monkey. Should be able to. No, is that it? Yeah, that's it. Metaverse Monkey. This is it. Yeah. So basically, it's an artwork. I think the artwork is fucking phenomenal. Look at this, man. Like a Morpheus motherfucker right here. It is pretty hardcore. This is. So, it's a massive NFT. Let's see if we get some explanation there. Or at least you can get some visual. Yeah. So here we go. So where do we have? Do we have anything? You know what? I'm gonna have to go into the website. Bring that up. There we go. Should have planned this properly. Sorry about this, Shadow. But you guys can add to the whitelist there. So basically, look, it's this, right? Everyone knows NFT is going to be a massive, massive thing. We've seen the wave of NFTs already have happened in 2021 with the Bored Apes and all the malarkeys with the pixel stuff and whatever. There's a bunch of NFTs just gone crazy. I'm not really into NFTs myself in particular. More of an altcoin trader. But saying that, what TS7 is producing is pretty an interesting thing. It's more like as you can see, you guys can read this off yourself as well. But imagine having a membership, right? Instead of paying like a $200 every month or so, you got a membership by holding an NFT, and this NFT gives you a lifetime access. It's like being in the Millionaires Club, in this explanation, talking about like a diamond watch as well, proof of your status. You put it on, it's shiny, it feels good, everyone marvels, right? And pretty much like you have access to a bunch of things. There's huge access, and you guys can actually join into the whitelist as well. I do recommend checking it out as well, 100%. I mean, you can see the artwork is freaking phenomenal, freaking phenomenal. That I'm looking to get one myself personally as well. So really it's one way like how this Metaverse Monkey is trying to change the way that we interact with things. It's a proof. So like picture this, right? Like, you know how everyone goes to, like, let's say you go to a football game. You go to a football game, you go watch Manchester United versus, I don't know, Liverpool. It's a big game, right? We expect Liverpool to get fucked over because Liverpool has done shit, as we saw yesterday. Was it yesterday or on Saturday? It was really terrible from Gomez and Van Dijk, but best defender in the world, isn't it? That's what they say. But anyway, you enjoy the game, and how many of us would like to keep the ticket? I'm in particular one of those guys who actually like to keep the tickets, like cinema tickets. I still got cinema tickets from like my first date, tickets with like family that had a great time, because obviously afterwards you go for like shisha, that kind of stuff, or with friends. And holding this NFT is that kind of special moment that you have that access that you've always known that's yours, that belongs to yours. It's a sense of entitlement when you've actually got this NFT. So holding this NFT in particular, I should be able to find something, a bit more explanation. Give me a second. I went off sidetrack, completely off sidetrack. Where is it, man? Moments now. I'm gonna have it on Telegram. It's gonna be on my Telegram. Give me a second there. Bring up my Telegram. I'll have everything over here. Give me a moment there. Metaverse Monkey. Let's have a look. I'm plugging him in as well. Because Shadow's such a good friend of mine as well, so of course you're gonna help a brother out. Should have it somewhere. I don't have his length of, I will have to find this and then plug it into the next one. I have to plug into the next one. But put it this way, I'm looking to get into it myself personally. Right? I will have my own NFT, and once I have it, I'm gonna post on Twitter, definitely 100%. But there's benefit. It might be here. So I'll definitely have to thingy. I'll definitely have to find some more information and plug that in properly. So tomorrow I'm gonna plug that in properly myself. Apologies for that. I'd rather have all the facts right in front of me so I can actually work on that. But NFT thingy, the NFT for the Metaverse Monkey is definitely one I'm gonna be grabbing onto myself, potentially, yeah. So not too sure when's the release out, but I'll get that for you as well. Yeah, the artwork looks amazing. It does look pretty much thingy. You have to be careful with chicken boxes and adult. Yeah, that's true. Your car's right, because the thing is, like, you need antibiotics and stuff like that. And it's life threatening when you're older. So I was kind of a bit worried a little bit. I ain't gonna lie to you. All right, cool. So let's see. And also, what about the previous untested monthly open and close? Do you think anything? Yeah, it does. Let's have a look. So we're looking at this, right? Dollar index. We're gonna work this out level to level. What time is it now? Yeah, I need to speed up a little bit. All right. So we'll get to this. We'll get to the BTC. Let's have a look at BTC. As you can see quickly, right, after monthly, what happened here? So these are the key levels, right? So we know this is the July's open, right? July's open's there. Found, we had a deviation, go back up. Find, above the July's open, we have the candle above there. We'll wick it out, come back down, and we find support off where? Off the July's open. Once we find support, we then do a bit of a deviation below it, a bit more deviation there, and we finally close above it. So this previous close has actually, open and close, it's really closed itself, has shown some significance there. So then again, if as long as we hold above it, we can play off level to level. So we'll be taking the next highs, and then we're looking at how this, will be August's open right here. See how we react if August is open, and he deviation break down, we play it back down for shorts. If we hold above it, we know that's a key level to play for the next target. This liquidity resting there. Once we take out these highs, then we see what's the next options there. So using these opens and closes always give you quite a beneficial way. So the same thing can be applied for the weekly. So again, because it's the new week, we'll be marking the weekly open and see how that works out. All right, Adam, we'll just work this out as we go along. Gooney saying it's better or not, it's a sustainable business model. One-off payments. Yeah, it's true. I understand where you're coming from. I think it's more of it's a long-term thing as well, because like the moment you sell your NFT, the Metaverse Monkey itself, that's it. You don't have access to the membership of tier 7 itself. So that's definitely an interesting thing there. So, and you can't enter in tier 7 by paying anyone, like, unless you buy the NFT, and that's your proof of purchase, and that's your proof of actually being a member there. So that obviously the membership's gonna be capped at 999, and that's it. So there's no such thing as it's an interesting model. It's a very interesting model. I like to see how this pans out in the next couple of weeks, couple of months, over the year or two. It's amazing. My OG Citizen NFT will blow up, holding some of my the passive income. You know what, passive income? They're interesting. It's like MCC. I bought an MCC, right? I think I had 10 million market cap or something like that. And that dump, man. I never bought any nodes. I didn't buy any nodes at all, but I know a number of people who bought nodes, and it's sad when people lose money. It's like, don't get me wrong, I lost money on that on that. I didn't take profits, when we start popping up to 100, 200 million market. I didn't take profits. That's the honest truth about it. I was holding it because I was thinking that, we always are the belief that it's going to be more of a long-term game. So I was quite happy to hodl this. And obviously we had the MCC dev. He disappeared for 2 weeks and whatnot. You know the story behind it. For those who don't know the story, the dev disappeared for 2 weeks. Then it was like, obviously we had the Twitter stories, not the stories, Twitter fucking speeches and shit like that. I don't know what to call it as well. He wasn't there for 2 weeks as well. People clocked on, and then next thing is obviously he came out and said that he wants to do this alone. He has his own vision, blah blah. He doesn't want to work in a team, and obviously because he actually said something like that and doesn't want to work with anyone, and he has his own vision. Then we start dumping, and we start dumping. We lost it quite heavily as well. I mean, I got out probably just above break even, around that. I got out. I think around I think just over break even. I was expecting, okay, maybe we get a bounce, but MCC got fucked over, and then now the nodes are still. I think the nodes are still working. Passive income, it's not really worth shit. MCC's really got dumped out quite heavily. But that's the problem when you got, when you got influencers, too many influencers actually, like shitting out a project. That's the truth. It becomes a bit of a danger zone. You know what I'm saying? So I was telling the guys, I think early on, in terms of one alt in particular, that I think is 100x. I believe it's 100x. I shared it to the group as well. They know what it is. If you don't know what it is, just go to the alt prospect on the channel, and it's the last post that I posted out there. And that, I believe, is going to be minimum 100x. I think so. It's hard to say. I'm not a type of person to say 100x altcoin. I don't really come out with that kind of idea. But the team is stacked. The team is fucking stacked. Imagine, like, the team has worked with EA, has worked with the UFC in terms of partnership, has worked with worked on Candy Crush, has worked on a number of things as well. It's a number of things. So you can imagine how big of a stack card it is as well. So that's one interesting thing that I'm looking at as well. So coming to 2023, leading to 2024, I'll be buying a bag of it. So I'm going to let this market do. I don't think this is going to be a bull run. I don't think we're going to go up and make highs. I don't think, whoops, what the fuck's going on here? I don't think we're going to make highs and keep going higher into like 40, 50, 60k. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think this is just a bear market. I believe it's a bear market rally up to here, then we come back down, and then around here, right, as we approach 2024, is where we start looking to stack up on alts as well. So there's a element of patience, really. That's the truth. Okay. So I hope you have Twitter. I'm gonna follow. Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, I do have Twitter. So if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, the link's in the description. Literally, go to the profile. It's Daink at Daink. That's me. And yeah, give me a follow. I'm more than happy there. Appreciate that, brother. What's going on, Thomas? How you doing? What monthly range of BTC do we concentrate on now? I'm still concentrating the same range. Nothing's changed. What's the range I'm looking at? July's range. That's still the same thing. It hasn't changed there. As you can see right there. I mean, let's just remove that off there for a second there. That's still the key thing. And as you can see, I have marked out the monthly open in terms of October. So whatever I'm sharing out to you guys, I actually take into practice of it as well. Take into consideration on monthly open, weekly open, that kind of stuff as well. Even daily open as well, which is interesting. And that's how we, start narrowing it there and give you more of a higher probability in terms of trades. Still concentrating on that. Nothing's changed there. So let's just break down dollar index and whatnot and see how this goes on, and then we'll see what happens. Making plans. I'm not looking for trades in particular myself so much because it is the monthly open. We're going to be a bit more careful. So let's get cracking. Let's get to work because we've got a lot to cover now. All right. So now this particular trade, right? So this is the monthly candle on dollar index, right? So what's interesting about this? You see this low here, right? Fuck off. What's going on here? You see this low here and this high here? We haven't taken out any liquidity. So which means that we are stuck within this range band environment, within last month's range. Okay. So that's still the fact there. I mean, there's nothing more to it about it. What would have been quite interesting would have been if we have taken out the monthly high, right? Taken out September's high, come back down, found resistance, play it back down, mid-range, back to range low, and then from mid-range low, then we take out liquidity on both sides, just like the Monday's range. If you guys have seen me play the Monday's range, you see me many times. I'll wait for liquidity to be taken out on Monday's high and Monday's low, then step in once we actually find establishment on the support, or step in when we find establishment I think you're finding resistance over here. And then I play back to mid, back to low, and this one again is back to mid, back to high. So same principle there. Nothing's been taken out there, so we're coming to monthly close. I mean, what could happen in October, in November, if this was going to be the high and we're going to have a short-term, bounce back down? I don't know. We got FOMC. We'll see what happens in the coming days. If we get a spike up, close back below it here, do this, get below the monthly open for November, play it back down, take out liquidity over here, take out liquidity there, and then we can see we go a lot more lower. We'll see how that goes, but it's a bit difficult to say just yet, right? I mean, so looking at this on the weekly, well, what can we say on the weekly? Right, weekly is interesting. This particular candle here, we took out last week's low and we closed below it. Then we've also taken out this low over here, taken out liquidity there, and we close above it. So which means if we close above it, we're taking liquidity, we're hunting liquidity left, right, and center. So particularly in this particular, I keep saying particular a lot, and it's kind of annoying me there. in this example, sorry, what we're looking for, I can see that this is the range band environment that we're playing here, because we're taking out liquidity. This is the deviation, this is the support, so we're going to play back up to range high, which makes sense. If we're going to have a bearish dollar index in November and a bullish BTC, what we'd like to see is dollar index come up, take out some highs, right? Take out this high over here particularly, maybe come into this area, find resistance, and play back down, which is the mid-range between this high and this low. And then, so let's do this again. Take out liquidity over here, find resistance, come below the mid-range, find resistance, take the short here, stop loss above there, play it down to range low. Once we lose this level, then we can play back down lower. That's what I'll be looking for. Quite simple in terms of playing it level to level. It's always going to be a level to level play. It doesn't change. Whatever it is, price is always in a range. When we break out of a range, we make a new range, right? So let's just say when we broke out of this range, for example, give you an example what I mean. So we know that price was in this range, for example, right over here, okay? So you know how we got this high over here, and then we got this low over here in particular. That was a range band environment. We played in this range for so many years, for like nearly a decade. It's well, not even a decade, over half a decade. Deviation, 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 deviation. All right. So we got deviation on both sides, and then we broke out of it. When we broke out of it, right, you can start focusing on these highs and these lows here. Once we reclaim this high there, as you can see, that was your long stop loss hard. Start playing it up to the next set of targets there. But talking about level to level play, if I were to focus on each level on the daily, let me delete this. Once we broke out of the high, you can start seeing that we're making a new level. What is the new level of this particular high? So we got this high here and this low here. This is a new range, and as you can see, price was capped in here, had a bit of a deviation, found resistance, resistance. When we shot up, broke market structure, we came back, retested the range high, and then we catapulted a bit further. And then it makes a new range. It's always making a new range, or if it's not making a new range, if it's all-time high, right, which is not an all-time high, we're using a previous range. Previous range is when? Well, let's look at the weekly. We've got these ranges over here. This is a range band environment. You see this low here in particular, and this high over here in particular. That's a range band environment. Fuck off. Let me just do this again. Put this controller over here. Got my PS5 controller there. Fucking blocking my view and shit like that. As you can see, we have a range band environment. This is the range low. You can find this, and this is the range high. And look what happened. Back then, resistance, come back down, and we came all the way here. Resistance. That didn't wick into it. Resistance, come into it. Gets choppy here. But then what happens? Once we find support, we shoot up to the mid-range. Mid-range, we shoot up to range high. Range high comes up there, plays around, deviates below, underneath it. Then what happens is we finally break out of it, and we've done a retest off this low here. So that's all perfectly fine. There's this high holds, we don't know, but we're playing it level to level. If you were to hold, we'd see this market structure, a bullish market structure. Then we can play this up there, and it'd be fucking shit for crypto. That's what we're looking for in terms of the outspec. But we don't know what's going to happen. We're going to play it level to level, bringing out the levels. And what are the levels? Let's have a look. So here we are. Right, I've got a bunch of shit going on there. Number one, what we need to focus is this low here and this high here. This is the range band environment that we're playing in. We're finding resistance at the mid-range. So as long as we find resistance at 113.551, we're good to go for short to sell. But looking at this on the daily, let's go on the 4 hours actually. Few things that we need to pay attention. Number one, we've got a trend line over here. You see this trend line in particular? Right, let me just draw these out. Oops, what the fuck? I'm doing a bit of a deeper explanation on terms of dollar index, right? Because I'm not going to do this again throughout the rest of the month, right? So pay attention to this. You see this? I've mentioned this a few times. We've got a range band environment, bullish. It's a bullish trend line. Everyone's expecting the top to be in. Everyone's thinking this was the top. We're thinking that this was the top, this was the top, this is the top, this is the top. We don't even know what the top is, right? But we're going to play this level to level. So we step back into this this trend line there, which means that, look, we're finding support off, let's just say, from here. You can see that quite clearly. We're finding support off this little trend line itself. It's all like, you know, fucking wonky shit, right? We're finding support there, support here, come back there, a bit of a deviation, find support. Where we're going to find resistance off this range high itself, which makes sense for a pullback up. And then if we find resistance, off this area, break down, play back to the mid-range, and then we play back to range low off this trend line. And then if we start to lose this level, then let's fucking short the short the dollar index, long your euro, long your pound sterling, long your fucking crypto, and let's keep going there. That's how we're looking at it as a level to level play. That's number one. Number two, what we're looking at, we've also got the range band environment that we've got here. So for those, if you just recall back briefly, right, this was the range low, and that's the mid range. Okay, so let me just break this down. The weekly range we're talking about, we got range low, mid range, and this is the midpoint between those two ranges there. Okay, and where are we? We're just above the high itself. So which means if I were to start focusing on this area, what can happen, right? You know what? Let me fucking just make this bigger. Why the fuck is it shrinking like that? Freaking eyes gonna hurt, man. With like, so yeah. So we've got range low over here, 25% range, and the mid range. And as you can see quite clearly, right? Let's just talk about this briefly. We are finding resistance at the mid range over here. We have a deviation in the mid range. Resistance, 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 resistance. All this is resistance. So this key point at the mid-range is a key factor. But where are we right now? We are above the 25% of the range, so we've got to focus on this area here. So we've got inefficiencies here. We've got and that's the main thing. We've got inefficiencies here. So in terms of for the monthly close, I'm quite happy for a push back up, or even just consolidating this area here. Come to November, beginning of November, have a push up. Let the spike of the month happen. Then we mark out the monthly open, and let's play the downside move all the way back down for a bearish, I think a bearish monthly candle. That's what we're looking for, right? We've got midterm coming up on the 4th, I believe it's the 4th itself on the Friday. So we're gonna have to be a bit careful there. So what can happen if I was looking for shorts on the dollar index? I'm looking for this particular area. This is where we got a bit of consolidation, a bit of a deviation over here. So price, I'm expecting price to fill up this inefficiency there, comes back up, finds resistance, breaks down over here. This is your confirmation. Stop loss over here, above the highs over here, playing it back down to 25% of the range, get back below, and then we take out this area here. This is the area, the next target there. Then we take out the lows, and then we squeeze down, filling out all this inefficiency back to range low. And then from there, we'll see what happens, which will also come in time with that, that trend line. That trend line that we just did, which kind of times into the trend line itself. So we've been marking that this out itself, see how this works out. Is everyone understanding this? PYR, UFC partnership, is it? Interesting. Eurozone October core CPI inflation rises 5%, estimated 4.8%, previous 4.8%. Yep. Yeah, Goody saying passive income is almost always a Ponzi. It's true. It always is a Ponzi. I don't think there's no such thing as a passive income unless you're buying properties. That kind of stuff is a passive income. That's a legitimate passive income. Because obviously inflation is going up, rent is going up. It's tough. So like for those who are actually paying rent, I don't know if you guys have experienced any increase in rent yet, but that's what tends to happen as well. That's a real passive income. Not like NFTs and crypto and stuff like that. Those things, I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. It could well happen. I don't suppose it won't because of regulations. I think once regulation comes in, then we can start looking at passive income for real, like renting out a metaverse freaking NFT. A metaverse yard, like people want to buy it and like these metaverse properties, but no one wants to buy a real property. So weird. But this is the world. This is the age of the internet, right? What was the channel where you mentioned? Let's rewind back, brother. Mario, it's pretty much this trend line over here. See the trend line that we got. Delete all this. This particular line. And this particular line, and that's the mid-range, so which comes down to range low, which also fits into, even comes down over here. We'll see, who knows if it does something like this and falls above it, comes back up. I don't know. We don't know, something like that. But this trend line is also a key factor that I'm looking for. It's not a definitive like, oh yeah, take profit here. I prefer horizontal plays. I think horizontal plays are a lot more valuable than anything else. Do I cover Doge? I'll try and squeeze that in. What time is it now? Shit, it's 10:34. Okay, I gotta squeeze this off. All right, so let's go to ES. ES, what's going on? So ES, right? We've got a few things. Number one, right? We know we're above the 2021's range low, which is that black line on the bottom over here, just right here. We had, oops, what the fuck? Let me delete this shit here. Nah, actually, you're gonna need that. Yeah. So this is the 2021's range low, and obviously we had some consolidation in this area here. We've broken out the highs, bullish market structure, come down there, a bit of a deviation, and we come back up to. If I mark out the range band environment, this is the swing high, and I'd say this would be the swing low itself. And we had a bit of a deviation. We found support there, and we're at the mid range. So I don't mind it come back up, have a deeper pullback, maybe into this area here. How far does of a deep pull? It can come back into this area here and still reclaim this. The moment we, let the deviation happen, right, below the mid-range, the moment we get back up, show a bullish market structure, get above the mid-range, above 38.82, around that number, then we play the next target, which is about 40.28, and then from there we see we can take out these, well, I'll look at into this area here, and then come in to take out these highs over here, this high over there, at 41.75. See if we squeeze into the mid-range. At the mid-range, see what happens. I'm expecting some sort of resistance of this area here. It always is. There's always going to be a reaction off the mid-range. So you're going to be taking profits at the mid-range. As we get back up, maybe a bit of a deviation. If we hold above it, happy days. Let's go a bit longer for highs, for new targets. That's what we're looking for. But if we start breaking down, something like this, come back into this range, then this is your confirmation for you to play back in, stop loss above there, play back to the mid-range back to range low. And this could be at the end of it. We don't know exactly, but we'll see how it goes. That's ES. So if I'm expecting ES to push up, right? I mean, where am I expecting at least to a very minimum, right? We'll be off this area here. I think if you guys remember, I marked this. See this particular range over here? It just so happens, right, is that this area here from this high and also this, you can see this high as support, shoot it, come there, support, we reclaim it, hold there, go back up. We lost this over there. We do a bit of a deviation here. So this area here in particular is going to be a key area. So we're going to see how we react. We might come over to this area, start breaking down. If it breaks down, and then we short it back down. Okay. So this block of consolidation is going to be quite a key important factor there. So where will I get bullish? If we get back up, hold above it, start showing bullish price action, and then we can play it for longs. So until then, it's coming up to resistance. So any alts you're holding, any crypto you're holding, looking to take profits, I believe the millionaires will be taking profits around this area here, which makes complete sense, to be honest. Okay, does that make sense, everyone? What was it? Ed's in the house. What are you saying, brother? Guys have an appointment with a skin specialist for his. What a dickhead! What a dickhead! I love him, but his opinion he has sometimes. Oh man, what a geezer! Got nothing but love for the guy. FOCC. Fucking prick. Alright, let's talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin's quite interesting. We had a pump today, interestingly enough, right? So is this gonna go up higher? I don't entirely believe so just yet. It is the monthly open. I'll be quite cautious of what's going on there. We are above the monthly open, which is good. Holding support there. Let's talk about briefly what's going on here. I'm using this range. This in particular is July's range. July's low, as you can see. From here, this is July's low, this is July's high. This is we find resistance of here. The mid range, we can find resistance, deviation. So we're looking to push back into the mid range. There's a key factor right here. Now, what's happening here? It's an interesting little story that's going on. So we pumped up, right? And most of us, right, including myself, missed out the longs from here. So the 19th, which was around here. So this is the range bound environment that we've been playing at. And as you recall, throughout the month itself, for like 4 weeks, 5 weeks, I was just playing it ping pong between low to high, high to mid, just playing it from low to mid, mid to high, and then back down and back up, back, that kind of play. Just playing it like a ping pong. It doesn't really change anything at all. So we had a breakout, took out these highs there, we come back down, hold 25% of the range. It's all good there. Now the question is, right? See this high here. Now if you are not in longs, right? How do you get on board, right? Number one, we have a problem here. Number one, this is the problem. See this high in particular? That's acting as resistance. That's completely acting as resistance there, which means that we've got, if I use that same candle there, what's going on? We've got a bit of a deviation there. We've got a bit of a deviation here. We found support off this block here, this area of block here. You guys should actually know on the DCC what this block is important about, OB block. So we find support there. As long as it holds support, that's all good there. We can play it back to the range high. But if I want to get into longs, right, for confirmation, I need the price to get back up, hold above it, and then play it back up to the range high. It's a good play, playing it up to the 21.7k area as well. That's what we're looking for. But because it's the monthly open, I'm not entirely sure that this is ready to go down, right? Ready to go up just yet. It could well do so. But how do we play this, right? So the interesting thing here is that we've broken market structure on the lower time frame, right? What do I mean? You see this? Got high, lower low, lower high. Oh, this is lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. You can see this lower low, lower high, lower. Then we got higher low, higher higher high, higher low, and then bang, we take out market structure there. So that's fine. So we've broken market structure on the upside. But what are the key factors that could be reacting, like where it could be reacting, right, for it to be acting as resistance? Well, in particular, it will have to be this area here. Can you see this? Where was it? What the fuck was it? I just saw that right here. You see this area here? And it just so happened it whipped right into it. This particular candle over here, this area consolidation is where we find resistance. So then if it were to come back up and starts breaking down, it's a quick short back into where? Back into these. I mean, you start looking for this level here, and this level here. And that's what you'll be taking profits. But as long as we're holding above this low here, right, then I'm saying this is bullish. Now for me to actually enter in longs, right, so we're looking for a short. This could be a short for the day. It well could be. We'll talk about that in just a second. But what could also happen is, right, what the fuck is it? Right there. What could also happen is that if price gets back up, right, holds above this, right, we've got above this consolidation right here. Now I'm looking for longs. This is your confirmation to play it back to where? Because we've you know, as long as we reclaim this area here, reclaim and hold above it, we can play it back to range high. So that's the long itself. We're looking at how it is. And in actual fact, really, you're probably better. So if you're looking for leverage trading as well, you're probably better waiting for the monthly close to happen. Once you've got the monthly close, you've got a new monthly open, mark it on the monthly open and see how we react after the monthly open. If we start to make the wick of the month and we start shooting downwards, right, no problem, let it shoot down. But then once we reclaim the monthly open, and then we look to long it as we go ahead. But we'll do this on a daily basis, working out thinking what's going on. So the interesting factor here, I won't be too. What time did this spike up? This spiked up just at 10 o'clock actually. Just at the thingy. This spiked up at 10 o'clock. Where's the New York? So we've got Asia's low right here. This is Asia's low, and Asia's high is right here, which makes sense. Oops, fuck off. Asia's low and Asia's high, which makes sense. So if price comes back down, back into Asia's high, hold support on Asia's high, right? Then what we're doing, we're looking for longs all the way up, back up. So, but then again, bear in mind, it is the weekly open. It is the monthly close. So be very, very cautious. Speaking about monthly close, what's important about this week? We need to actually always remember what's happening in this week. This is the wrong fucking thing. What's going on? No. Come on, man. Show me the whole fucking week. Forex Factory. There we go. So nothing going on Monday today. So it's all normal shit going on, whatever. The main key thing that we're looking at is ISM manufacturing PMI tomorrow at 2 o'clock in job opening. And we also have unemployment for the New Zealand dollar. There was the FOMC press conference is happening on Wednesday, 6:30 UK time, UTC. So that's a very interesting thing that we're going to keep an eye on as well. And then what's the biggest factor really is Friday. Friday we've got NFP. We've all seen NFP have the spike up and the spike down and whatever. It's probably safer to let this week play out before stepping into any leverage plays itself. So we'll see what happens. Weekend highs will still to be swept. It's possible. It's very possible. So work this out level to level, see how it goes. I'm a bit cautious coming on to the week, the start of the week as well, including the monthly open. A little bit cautious, but looking at this, right, I wouldn't be surprised, right, if we reclaim that high. I really wouldn't be surprised. Reclaim this high. We know that's the long play going up there. I want to look at another chart itself, which shows me a different range itself. This range in particular, helps me, gives me a bit more of a tighter entry as well. So what's important about this? We played this range quite a number of times in the past, right? And it's still the same range that hasn't changed, okay? This is the weekly low and weekly high. And you can see price is range band in this area here. For those who want to understand where the levels come from, let me show you quite quickly. The weekly, look at this. This whole candle itself has capped the market. Deviation, resistance, do a deviation on the upside. Comes back into it, finds support, deviation there, finds resistance. Come back there, we have a deviation of the range, and we're stepping back in. Which, if you were to look for a range band environment, we played from the low to the mid range. So now what we're looking for now, just focusing on these little areas on the 1 day. No, let's go on the 2 hours. So fuck it, 2 hours. We've come back down. Off this high here. This is a key high there, right? And you can see resistance, deviation over there, resistance smashed above it, come back down, finds it, deviates it. The question is, do we come back down and find a support here? That's the really key thing as well, off this area here. So the shorts I was talking about. So this is the key thing that I'm looking to take shorts off, taking it back into profit, taking the area here. Now, if I want to look for plays, this is how I focus on the range, level to level play. Now, if we get back up, hold 20.8k, shows bullish market structure. We play back to 21.3, back to 21.9. That's it. Range level, level to level. All right, and this would be my confirmation. Whatever deviation here, here's my stop loss playing up there. Okay, if now that's the bullish play. The bearish play is this. See how we find resistance over here, and if we start breaking down, let me just show some SRs over there. Throw this up there. So I would use particular this low here, right? So this low in particular was support, bit of a deviation here. Let me just try and draw that out properly. There we go. That's better, right? Let it do its thing, right? If it finds resistance, breaks down, then I take the shorts back into this area of consolidation here, filling out all this fair value gap there. Now I'm taking profits there. Then we'll see how we react. If we hold above it, get back up, play back up into this at a low, hold above the mid range, and then we can go up higher. I do not want to see this low to be taken out. It could well do. I don't want to see this low taken out, but if it does, what we're doing, we're coming back into range low, and it just makes sense to fill out this FVG, the fair value gap or the inefficiency, and then we'll see how we react holding above this level here. This is a key level. 19.8k is previous all-time high. We hold above it, play back to 25% mid-range back to 75, back to range high, and that's all it is. Play into the range. Keep playing into the range until it gives up. All right. Price is always in the range. We're always playing in the range. Would you buy spots? I have bought some spots myself personally. I bought a SHIB. When I tweeted it SHIB out, yeah, and I entered in and I tweeted about SHIB. Pump 20%. I'm like, fuck this. Cut the trade. Monthly close coming out, and I made a 20% gain out of it. And now reloaded back in yesterday as well. And I think we've gone back up. I believe we've gone back up. Let's see where SHIB is. That's what fucking one. Yeah, so I mean, I bought back in around here, around 11, I think 11, around this area, 1180, 1170, around that area. So I think a slight little profit there. Looking at this, I want to see, get back, hold above this, and then we're finding resistance of this area here. That's the problem is, once we hold above it, off we go. Let's go back into this area there. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how that happens. But that's BTC. If I were to look on the 15 minutes quickly, how's it looking like? Yeah, we're finding resistance quite clearly. You know what I'm saying? So I want to see particularly this low hold as resistance, hold as support. All right, so come back in, retest this area here, hold above it. I can take an aggressive long here with a hard stop over here, playing it for higher prices all the way back up there. So that's what I'm looking for. And once we get back up and take out these highs and show bullishness over here, and this was a deviation of the mid range. Just that's what it was. So that's what I'm looking for. As long as we hold above this particular low, which comes into about, let's have a look, 20.5. Let's go 20.590, and then 25.90, and then we can go up higher. That's what we're looking for, and just a retest of that. So we'll see how it goes. Ethereum. Quickly look at Ethereum. Ethereum, I'm in a long. The guys who knows about this on Friday, I entered the long, and as soon as I entered in, I'm up like 4R actually at the moment, so it's not too bad. I still held my thingy. I took small profits around 1620 itself, as because we were finding resistance of this area here. But Ethereum is still looking quite strong. I'm still holding this. Key point is off Ethereum. What time is it? 10:50. I'm gonna make a move in a bit. I'm trying to squeeze past this, and then we can I can head off. Ethereum. Let's have a look. Let's put two different levels. What we got here? Got any levels here? Fuck that. Back into this then. Let's fuck this. Let's do this. Let's focus on this area. Move this over here like that, and then this one I'm gonna move this like that. Okay. Working this out level to level. What's important about Ethereum? Let me just show this out. Okay. If I show on the 1 hour, on the 4 hours itself, we are at approaching July's range high. So if you guys remember, we talked about this range being a key factor for quite some time, and it's actually been the factor that we're playing at, right? I was expecting a bit of a move down myself, because while we were finding resistance below this area, let me just delete everything off. Just draw this up here, at least you guys can see what's going on before I even remove anything, because there's quite a number of lines and shit like that can be confusing. So here, so we had consolidation in this area here, and I was looking for like a breakdown. Once the breakdown would have been if we lose this low here, finds resistance, play it back down, go down into range low. That's what I was looking for. Completely wrong on the idea. We find resistance below the mid range, and we pop back up, right? So we pop back up, And now we're making high, like, you know, breaking market structure, clear breaking market structure there. Oops, fuck off. Anyway, never mind. And now what we're focusing on between this high to the mid range, right? And then, which means you see this area of consolidation right over here. This is going to be an area of resistance. I'm expecting price to come back up. I do have $1,700 in mind, which would be my target area, but I'm looking for price to get up there. Once we get into this area, this is the key point. What happens? Do we find resistance? It starts breaking down to play back lower? I don't know. We're going to have to work this out level to level. But if we hold above it, break above, bullish market structure, let's take out these highs and let's go for higher prices as we go along using the previous ranges, which is second quarter 2021's range low to range high. That's what we're looking for. So, which is, if I show you right over here. We discussed this on Friday, and that's the range band environment. Once we, that's the macro range. That's the big ass motherfucking range. Once we get into this range and take out these, I mean, look, you can clearly see we've broken market structure there, find support there. We're looking for levels to come into this area here. So we don't know. First things first, is this low here? Do we hold above it? Come to these highs here, a resistance? I mean, if you look at it this way, let's have a look. You see this particular high here, right? This is the area where price is actually finding resistance. Let me delete this shit here. There. Higher, find resistance, sell off. Come back up, finds resistance, sell off. Then we start making lower lows, lower highs. So if we break out this high here, where we're going to go back into this area. This will be like, if you're making longs, you're going to have to take some sort of profits there, because we're going to expect some sell off there. Just like we've done here once, done it twice, potentially could do it the third time. Where would I be wrong? If we get back up and hold above it, then let's look for the next level, 25% of the range, go into these lows and then the mid range. And that's what we're looking for. I'm not showing hopium, I'm just showing you what the what the potential plays are like are out there. So like, don't be confused that like, oh yeah, it's a bear market rally, how high can this be, can this go? Well, to be honest, right, if I were to do a market structure kind of play, look at this. This is the high, lower low, lower high, lower low, right? Is this the lower high? I would like to think so. If we find a break out there and then break down, do a bit of a deviation there, do a stop run, send it off, most likely. Or if you were to get back up, right, gets back up and holds above it, then I'm looking for the mid range, and I still want to see the mid range to hold a reaction there. So we play it level to level until proven otherwise, right? This is the, like, literally, we've got July's range. We're breaking out of July's range. Once we break out July's range, we'll figure out the next range. So we do it level to level. We've got the monthly open coming up, so be a bit cautious about this. Looking at Ethereum. Just on a quick brief note, 15 minutes, let's have a look. What's going on here? Well, interestingly enough, right? Let me delete this shit here. Let me explain this, right? So what happened was here, came out of a Friday prayer. I think something happens on Friday prayer. When I have Friday prayer, I'm always getting into a long or a short, and then I get a very good trade straight after. So I'm gonna show you this, right? Let me just fucking delete this shit here, right? So what happened was briefly. Like I said, we were showing bearish market structure. High, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, then bang, and then bang, it's coming back down. So you see this particular high, whoops, this particular high over here. Once we smashed above it, right, the clean candle that closed above it there, right off this candle here, then I was like, all right, you know what, breaking market structure. I told the guys in the group on Friday, breaking market structure, I'm entering into a long. When I entered into a long, I think it's entered wherever it was off the chart itself, and I was playing it back to where? I'm looking to play it back to 1700. 1700 we discussed is the second quarter range low, the macro range we're playing out there. So that's what I'm looking for as a quick play there. And I entered in. Obviously, you can see clean smash above. It was all that's not right. Anyway, so clean smash above. We went back up there, come into this area here, which is the 75% of the range of July's range. We find some resistance off this area, comes back up, spikes into this area here, which is the 1645, right? Which is the new range between this to this. That's what it is. That's the mid range between the range of the 75% and the range high of July's range. That's all it is. So then I'm seeing how it plays. Let's delete this. Finds resistance. Just a stop run. You know, you could have cut your shorts completely and then play back down on the shorts itself. But I held the longs itself. Comes back down. Comes into this area of consolidation. Finds resistance, and it's choppy at this range, at this 75% range. And you can see what happens next. Quite importantly, we do find resistance after. Oops. We do find resistance. As you can see, resistance, deviation, resistance, 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 and then bang, smash the motherfucker out of it, alright? So then that's all good. At the same time, I want to be cautious on the 15 minutes. This particular candle, we have a candle close above it. I don't want to see this low loss. If we lose this low, then what happens? We'll come back down to this area here. This is the consolidation that happened before we broke out. So it can come back down as a retest and then do an expansion. I'm not too sure. I'm still holding my longs on a swing long there. But as long if we can get to reclaim, get back up above here, for example, hold above it, then we're looking for the next targets there, taking out these highs over there at 1645. From 1645, then it gets interesting. What happens next? We have to play. Oops, fuck off. We have to play this level to level, which means, right? If we were to hold above it, that's my next level, back to 1694. I think I got 1700. 1700 is where my TP is really as well. But I'll be reacting, seeing how 1700 is, because we can come back into this area, find resistance, break down, sells off. We don't know. We don't know entirely, but that's what I'm looking for. And this is what, a 6.1R move? So it's not too fucking bad, actually. It really isn't fucking too bad. It's quite a sweet move. Then, after that, if he holds above it, squeeze it back up. This is a separate trade. Target 1, target 2, and that's it. July's high is all done. And once we've broken out July's high, which I talked about, we'll have to work out what the next range is. We'll work it out when the time comes, close to the time, holds above it, and then we can go up to for higher prices. That's all it is with Ethereum. And if we do find some resistance off here, you can show some distribution, breaks down. That's the high that was capping the market. That was the high that's capping the market. Breaks down below here, and then we can play it shorter. This is your entry technique. Hard stop over here. Play it back down level to level. We'll work it out there as the time comes. But we'll see what happens there as the time unfolds. Daily, let's have a look at the daily. What's going on here? So that's it. Interesting enough, right? Using July's range on a lot of alts, right? Some alts hasn't gone to July's high. Some has broken out. Let me show you quite briefly. I was charting this out for the guys there, and we've come up. Oh, guys, Link has come to range high. So see how ETH is actually lagging below. It's around here, like just below the just above the 75% range, July's range. Alts are pushing up, which shows there's more power in alts. So alts are the one to play out there. Link is pushing up. BNB is interesting. BNB's broken out the fucking thingy. Wait, that's not enough of that. BNB's broken out of July's range, and where we're coming at? We're coming right into this area of consolidation right here. So if we get back up and hold above it, I'll do a plan on BNB after my appointment as well, because I think BNB is one of my favorite ones to play out there. Looking at some of them we looked at yesterday. What else do we look at? I think of some more quick alts. Close this. Let's have a look. Give me a second. Alts. What else do we look at? SHIB. ENS. Oh yeah, ENS was an interesting one. We talked about ENS yesterday. ENS USDT. We're just below the mid range. You see how they're different as well. So what I would say to guys who wants to jump onto alts, look at some of these alts as well. See how we react. If we hold above it, target 1, target 2, see what happens next. We break above it, let's go higher. Let's go higher. If we get back below it, let's go down lower. Play back down lower, back to 75, then mid range, and we'll see how we react there. So there's a number of alts that we're looking at as well. ENJ was an interesting one. I took a long on ENJ. Everyone knows about that in the group. Engine still at break even at the moment, and I'm looking for something like this. So what I was discussing briefly, and we'll briefly just talk about that. So you see this. Oh, I'm doing this in 4 hours. All right. So you see how this is, right? We've got an area consolidation right over here. You see this? Price consolidated, comes back down, find resistance, come back up, take out these highs there, do a bit of a deviation below that consolidation, get back up. And now what I want to see for confirmation is for us, price to get back up, hold above it, and then we can play it back into 25% of the range, then back to mid-range. From the mid-range, we play it back to range high. So that's what we're looking for. Let me show you a quick look here. I'll explain to you off this here. So I want you to focus on the blue box first. What that is a previous consolidation which found resistance and has broken above it, which I explained just briefly there, with a possible deviation of the range. Confirmation would be if we get back above and hold the top of the blue box, which I just discussed there, and then we can go for higher for the highs just created with continuation of bullish market structure. A swing failure has been formed, right, which is off here. You see, this is a weekly range. That's the high there. We have done a swing failure here, which has been formed there. Okay. So then let's pull back there. This is a weekly high, which we found resistance. Okay, so a swing failure has been formed. So I'd be keen to reclaim the highs to give us a better confirmation I've personally entered with a stop loss below the lows, which gives me more breathing space for a pullback to range low. But I want the deviation to hold in place to not break market structure on the downside. Looking for the mid range of July's range, and then working our way to range high to fill out inefficiencies that has been left on the left. Let's have a look. I'll bring this over there. Inefficiencies, what do I mean? Well, you see this area here. This, whoops, is the inefficiency. And that trade itself, right, it's not a bad trade. It's an 8.4 trade here, you know, off a swing trade. So risking 5% of my capital on that, quite happy to go on 8.4%. So I'm happy to hold this as we go along. We can play this on and off, scalping in and out and whatnot. Okay, so there's a number of alts itself that we can look at. Well, I'm trying to go through some of these ones. Like Nia is another one. I'll show you Nia. Quick one before I head off. Nia USDT. Again, I'm in a long on Nia. Talked about it yesterday as well. So July's range is in play. We've done the deviation of the range, mid range and range high. And you know, be careful of the mid range. Expecting a bit of pullback on Nia as we enter the monthly close. But as ETH BTC are bullish, there are some upside playing in this range bound environment. For swing play, it's fine to enter here with validation 2.88, right? Just like here, my invalidation is below the range low. So if price gets back down below, for example, let's just say, if price comes back down here and finds resistance, I'll be looking to cut the trade before it stops me out there, right? But I do not want to see price get back below here. This is the range low, so I'm expecting for a price up to go to range high, which is again 6.7R trade. So we're catching these moves. Like, look, I'm not happy. I wouldn't be on catching these moves over here. I'm happy to actually catch these moves over here. So we've got a bit of a push up there. There's some fucking no profits there anyway. But there's a bunch of alts are doing the same thing as well. What are you saying, Mr. M? You're looking hot yourself, mate. So what we're looking for for a lot of alts. I'm happy to play alts from the range low, playing it back to mid range to range high. All right. Someone asked for sushi, right? Let me just touch base on sushi. What time is it now? Because I do have. Oh, I'm gonna have to make that last one, and I'm going off. All right. Sushi is broken above range high. All right. So again, just like BNB is broken above the July's range, and this is where it is. So we're looking at July's range breaking out there. So where we're looking for the next set of targets there. I'm quite happy to enter in. Right, playing it up to that $2. What's that low over here? $2.76. That makes sense completely off this low. Why? Well, that support broke down, resistance, sell off. Right. Then all this is we're looking for a retest or a deviation. If it's a retest, we'll start breaking back down, take your profits over here. If it's a deviation, we come back up. Right, come back into this area, hold above it, show bullish market structure, and this was all just a retest off from this range low here. Okay. So that's what we're looking for sushi. We played a massive short on sushi, didn't we? I played a fucking beautiful ass short from here, playing it back down to there, and that was a perfect ass short. And obviously we come back up, hold support the mid range. You could have taken the stop loss. You could have entered in anywhere from here with a stop loss, probably around here. That's what I would say. That would be the stop loss to play back to range high. Now we've broken up to range high. We'll make plans on the upside there. So as the market's going up on the upside, I'm looking quite happy to actually play up. If I want to get on board, how do I get on board on sushi? Let me do this on the daily. Makes a bit of sense there. So you see this particular close. Remember we talked about close in the morning, right? In the very beginning, open and close. You see that close over there in the body candle? That's acting as resistance. Resistance, not this high. It's this close over here. So if I want to enter on board, right? Let it do its thing, right? Come back down, whatever. Once we hold above it, I'm happy to enter in. Right, whatever the deviation is below my stop loss, play it back to $2.60, $2.76, whichever it was, and that's a swing play. Looking at this area here as target 1, and then we go up to target 2. Okay, and that's it with sushi. Solana, I'm actually in Solana. I'm in the guys in the DCC should know about Solana. We talked about it already. Again, I'll show you again quite briefly here. Let me show you this. Fuck off. Yeah, Solana. Description of Solana. We have a weekly range where price is smashed into the range, looking for a pullback to range low and hold, and then we can look along into the mid range, and then range high and X, Y, and Z. That was the. Let me just bring this up. This was the range bound environment, range low to range high. This is the mid range, target 1, breakout, target 2. Okay, and that's it. So looking at Solana, I'm already in a long. I entered in. I had a buy opportunity. I had a spot buy, like a buy limit into here. Quite happy that you hold it as well, and we kissed it perfectly as well. So I'm in profits already. I'm in some decent motherfucking profits on that. So looking for more of an expansive play, right? I'll briefly touch base on this as well, and I'll cover this on the DCC quite soon as well. So looking at this, you see what happened? We had a deviation on the range. This is the range low. This is the range high. And let me just delete everything off before I bring this back up for a second. Deviation of the range low, deviation of the range high, come back up, pull back right into range low. My limit buys were here. Bang, off we go. Target 1 was over there, and we're looking to squeeze up to target 2. That's it, right? Then if we hold a bit, I'm happy to keep holding it, actually, to be honest. That's the honest truth about it. Because we're gonna have a massive expansive play, I'm happy to keep holding this. I'm not looking to sell it just yet. If we come up to here and starts breaking down, then I look to short it. Well, sell the profit, because we're gonna go back into here, back into mid range, and then we'll see how we react to the mid range. Hold above it, play it back up higher and whatnot. But let me bring this up now. Let me bring up my ranges. This is where it gets a little bit more interesting here. All right, let me delete this. If we reclaim this is the macro mid-range over here. We reclaim this, shows bullish market structure, take out these highs that we talked about, then I'm looking to play target 1 of $41.20-ish to $48-ish, around there. And that's a massive ass, and I've entered off here, which is a massive play all the way there. I mean, in terms of a fucking, let me just bring everything off, bring everything back in, delete all this. In terms of a play, that's from range low is over here, to range high. That's not a bad move, a 60% move that I'm playing on Solana. So that's what I'm looking for. Doge is always Doge, man. You know, Doge is just a fucking motherfucking beast, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So Doge itself, right? What we're looking for, right? I mean, what time is it? I'm gonna have to make a move. It's 11:07. I'm gonna have to make a move. Oh fuck it! I need to take a piss. With Doge itself, we all know what Doge does. Doge is one of them motherfucking candles that just blows up out of proportion itself. We've got a range bound environment here, as you can see. Let me just draw this up. Range low to range high. This is the range band here. Step back into this range, right? Hold above it. Bullish market structure. Play it into the mid range to range high. Back into around 17 cents. After 17 cents, we'll see what happens. We break above, carry on. We'll go for higher highs, for higher prices, or do we find resistance off this? So I'll have to talk about Doge in very soon, but I'm gonna have to head out there. I do apologize for that. Really sorry. I try to squeeze in as much as I can. PYR. But tomorrow I'll be home, obviously, with no appointments and none of this shit as well. So I'll have more time to look at alts then. All right. So I really appreciate you guys actually being here. Smash the likes, hit the subscribe button, and we'll talk about the rest of the alts soon. Gotta go. So sorry, I'm talking really fast. I'm trying to get as much in as possible. So have a great Monday. Enjoy yourself. Take it easy on the BTC and Ethereum. Mark out we gotta watch out the monthly close as well. So nah, I'm not gonna play Crash Bandicoot. Thanks, brother. But yeah, we'll work out how it goes. Come tomorrow, we have a monthly open. We can mark out the monthly open. We'll look at the weekly open as well. See how we're reacting from there, and we play from there. It gets interesting once the monthly open comes into place. Interesting enough as well. Don't forget, Wednesday is FOMC meeting. Friday we got non-farm payroll. So I think NFP. So those are very key things that we have. A very big week. Very volatile week as well, so be very careful as well going forward. All right, so I do appreciate you guys coming on there. Hopefully I catch you guys really soon. See you tomorrow, 10:15. Take care.